I'm going to try to do a few videos today because I want to talk about several related subjects, but it's going to be easier for people to find the things they want to know if everything isn't all in one long video. Shorter videos are going to be easier to digest. So the three things I want to talk about today are material choices, why and how, and to use a stick shuttle, and placement considerations for your rigid heddle loom, and the importance of beaming well. So let's start with materials since they're all sitting right here next to me. So when we last visited this project, I had woven a sample and I had not trimmed the tails very close to the surface of the fabric. And then I threw everything in the washing machine and shrunk it as much as it could possibly shrink. And this told me some things. First, it told me that one of my three breeds, my Anaroon's roving, shrank more than my Valet blackface and my gray Suffolk. And so when I wove a sample strap just to see what was going to happen, I did so with the intention of A, using up the warp that was on my loom, and B, seeing how all this manifested in a two breed strap. So I only used the Anaroons and the Valet Blackface in this strap. As I had told you I was going to, and you can see it on the loom that is warped up for the actual fabric, I just did the stripe in the middle, the white stripe, and two black ends, two black warp ends on either side of it. Uh, this is 95% certainly not going to be a strap I use for this project because A, it's too short even before it's finished. It's 28 inches long. I've been getting about 45% shrinkage, and I'm going to need a finished length of 36 inches. But it's worth doing because it will be interesting to see how using two breeds instead of three changes the shrinkage process. If I'm going to have, and you can see it very clearly just on this sample, that the the edges, the cut edges, kind of curve inward, where the Anaroon's roving shrank more than the other two breeds. And is the same thing going to happen when I'm just using two breeds? Secondly, the width of this felted sample tends to vary. And that is, again, I'm going to go with 100% sure that this is largely because I might not have been as consistent in my salvages while I was weaving it, uh, or I drew in more, or stretched the yarn more as I was weaving across, because that's, this is yarn with a lot of bounce, so that's just going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see how this strap shrinks up and what happens. So as I said, I just did the white part of the warp that was on the loom. For my weft, I only, and the one side of the salvages, I used the Anaroons. And in fact, I took unused warp lengths off the loom and reused those as weft because there was no reason not to. On a project like this, where you're going to shrink everything as much as it can possibly be shrunk, you're not going to need to worry about things coming apart. So lots and lots of weft tails, not a big deal. And I have already trimmed them off close to the surface of the woven fabric. So this is ready for shrinking. Uh, and as I said, this will also be a good test to see what I want to do for the final strap on the final bag. So a wool strap uh, will match the rest of the bag better. It won't have any stretch, but I will have so much less control over uneven salvages, uh, variations in the width, etc., that I might decide when I see how this felts up to go back to an inkle woven strap with cotton. And I might try, I've never done this before, but my understanding is that using a stretchy yarn on an inkle loom is not a lot of fun. But it would be fun to experiment and see what happens. And I've just got still so many warp ends left over from the sample. I've got plenty of yarn. It's not something I have to worry about. So if I choose to do another cotton strap, I can pick any weaving pattern that I like that matches the rest of the bag. And I don't know what that orange stuff is on here. Um, Clearly, I kind of let this go to the dogs. It's interesting too. So this was the strap for the old purple bag that I'm replacing. That the white actually stayed pretty doggone white, and if I had bothered to wash it like I should have, it would probably be even whiter. So the let me wrap up this discussion of materials. That the disadvantage of using cotton is my fibers won't match and my colors are going to be close, but it's going to be a very noticeable difference. However, I can live with that because I've lived with that on the old bag. This cotton band did not match the wool. It came close color wise. It did not come anywhere close in terms of shine and luster because this is unmercerized worsted weight cotton and it's just not going to match. There's just no two ways about it. But I will have evenness. I feel that on an inkle loom, I pay way closer attention to an even weaving width as I go, and that might be a consideration. So that is my talk about materials. We'll move on to shuttles in the next video.